Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm back here for another review of the movie called Prophetess. And that's my son behind there and his friend. And I'm going to be quiet throughout the review. So yeah, I'm going to review the movie Prophetess. And well, it starts off with, of course, a prophetess. And this prophetess is no ordinary prophetess. She's those prophetess that she has to do what she has to do to survive, and she's a starring. So she's not a real prophetess, but it so happened that a guy called Dipo visits her, and he records a live session of her prophesying which football team will win. And when she prophesies, the football team actually wins. The one she predicted would win actually wins. And so everyone believes her.
Money early predicts future, Abi.
Now we people start consulting her, and now they want to find out which team will win so that they can be able to place a bet on that team. She has so many believers that people actually placed a bet of, I think, 1 million naira on the betting company, and they really knew that that team was going to win. And remember, they've tagged all their money in that betting, and these are people's treatments, these are people's livelihood, these are people's salary, and this is a prediction of a fake prophet. So it's such an interesting story. I think if you watched Our President, or was it Chairman, on Netflix, then you might like this one because it's more of like an underdog type of story, and the unexpected, the victories of the underdog, So that's what the movie is about. Now I'm going to break down the characters now. So this prophet is those people dressed in white. I don't know what they call them in Nigeria, but here in Kenya we have people who wear almost similar uniforms called Lejo Maria. So these are like the Lejo Marias, and I'm guessing the Lejo Marias are like those prophetess because they wear similar uniforms. And the thing about them is that they mix like African traditional religion with Christian religion. I'm guessing it's the same case in Nigeria, and I think every country has something of that sort. Like I remember like when I was in Daystar, there was one from, was it Zambia or Zimbabwe? We used to call them Black Messiah. Anyway, and yes, they're also dressed in white, and yeah, they believe that Jesus would come through one of the kids that they bear with the priests over there. So anyway, yeah, it's just a mixture of African beliefs with Christian beliefs. I think a merger. So that's what I'm imagining. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, let me know. So let me break down the characteristics. If you see me looking down, I'll just be referring to my notes, so do not fret. Now, so yeah, I've given you a breakdown of what it's all about. So the person acting like a prophetess is Toyin. I know her real name, but in the movie she goes by the name Ajoke. Now, Ajoke starts off like, of course, prophesying, and then one of the startling things I found about it is that she's drinking Jameson. And I'm wondering, I thought this is a prophetess. Why is she taking Jameson? First thing in the morning before she prophesies, she has to take Jameson. So you're wondering, okay, that's weird. She's just trying to survive because she first of all ran away from home, and because she has epilepsy, and she's just trying to survive. Yeah, this is the only source of livelihood that she has, being a prophet, because she ran away from home. And then according to her sis sees her like a thief, and you kind of understand why she's seen her as a thief, because she ran away from home with the sister's money, which I'll discuss now later on. So I wonder why she ran away with her sister's money, knowing the money is not hers. So that was weird, that was strange. Then she wakes up, that's when I realized also she has epilepsy. she has a very strange relationship with her sister. Her sister dislikes her because Ajoke stole her sister's money. And then, but one thing I love about her is that she's remorseful, you know. Like, she did wrong to her sister. Her sister holds a grudge on that regard, but she's willing to. It's one thing to say sorry for what you've done, but it's also another thing to actually work for that forgiveness. She not only apologizes to her sister, but she works hard for that forgiveness. She goes to apologize to her sister for like running away with her money, and also because of her prophecy, her sister's money is also invested in the betting company, knowing fully well that she's a fake prophetess. So, like, it's a long story. Let me break it down like this. Her brother, Ajoke's brother, invested about, I think it's 400, oh no, it was 300,000 on a betting company based on what Ajoke had prophesied that the winning team is. So he invested 300,000 that was supposed to treat the mother of Ajoke on a prophecy that cannot be, like, no one can bank on it. So, like, this Ajoke had done two wrongs. In other words, not only had she stolen the money, she stole the money a second time by prophesying wrong, and her brother going to actually invest that money in a betting game. So betting is quite dangerous because, of course, people invest their livelihoods and things can go down the drain. So her sister is really upset with that situation, and you can understand why. But like I said, Ajoke is very remorseful, and not only that, she apologizes to her, she apologizes to the whole village, and also tries to look for a solution to remedy this problem. So, like I said, it's always good to not only, when you've wronged people, not only say you're sorry, but also work for that to show that you have changed. We see later on in the story that she actually works to show that she's changed, like she's helping the players to win the game, like she's coming to serve them, she's willing to cook for her sister, like she bites the humble pie when she knows that she's wrong, and that's what I really like about Ajoke.
Hey, Linda! Kiriani, pẹ̀lú ṣe jíra kan, àwọn spirit realm ni ó ní bó ṣe máa ṣiṣẹ́ pọ̀ ní ibẹ̀ yẹn. Gbẹ̀gbẹ́ bó ṣe ṣe. Hallelujah. Gbẹ̀gbẹ́ òṣì.
So then we go to the male prophetess that prophesies with Ajoke. I can't remember the name. I don't know if it was Taiwan or I've forgotten his name, or I don't know if it was mentioned or not. But he's very supportive. He plays a very supportive role towards Ajoke, and in such a way, he's a very loyal person. He reminds people to give offering, and he's also supportive towards Ajoke, and you realize that he actually loves her. So I actually ended up liking that character because without him you would not see the solid rock behind Ajoke. So he's good. Then I see Nze's wife, I've forgotten what her name was. I don't know if it was mentioned, but yeah, she's also a loyal supporter and prophetess, like supportive prophetess of Ajoke. So also her, she did quite a good job. She can pray for Africa, one of the most important characteristics. So then there's Dupizi. Without Dupizi, then Ajoke would not be known by the whole world. So it just happens by coincidence, like Mama Dupizi was crying about Dupizi because she's just exchanging women, and he really wanted Dupizi to pick one girl and settle down. And that's how now Dupizi's mother's sister and friend take Dupizi to the prophetess so that he can actually be prayed for and also be given a prediction of who he will marry. So Dupizi, we learn, is a radio presenter. He's promiscuous. He's also like, he goes there to the prophetess just as a way to mock the ants, because he does not believe in, I don't think he's a religious person. He does not believe in that prophecy. So he just goes there so that his mom can get off his back, and because his favorite aunt Shalewa has suggested that he should go to the prophet. So this is somebody who at least listens. He starts off as being somebody who's quite self-centered and selfish and maybe go lucky, but then towards the end of the scene you kind of find that there are other good characteristics about him. Number one, he's super caring and supportive towards Ajoke's sister, and he is also he's very loyal and determined and to see something to the end. So he has some really nice characteristics and he plays a major role in the story. Then there is Mama Dupizi. Mama Dupizi is the usual African mothers crying, when are you gonna get married? And she has a house full of people, she's not staying alone. She sounds like a single mother, but she's staying there with her sister and a friend. So this is like a good support system even if she's single. But she just comes briefly to just cry that, Dupizi, why ain't he getting married? There's a good theme that I thought should come out before I continue talking about the other characters, which is the social media, the importance of regulations when it comes to social media. Because you see, if it wasn't for Dupizi recording the live situation of the prophetess predicting a team would win and the team actually won, then now he was responsible for people in a certain village investing 1 million shillings on that team for them to win. You see, that is a bit irresponsible on his part, because he did that just to prove that the prophetess was wrong, but the prediction actually ended up being right, and people spent their livelihood betting on something that they're not even sure about. So that was really important, the importance of us, because everyone has a camera. So it's not like before when everything we used to watch was on TV and it had to go through the media houses, there was vetting and everything. Everyone with a camera now is like a media house, and what you put out there is quite important. So because of that type of responsibility, a lot of people took a very huge risk to invest money on a fake prophetess prediction. So that was quite dangerous. There's of course Auntie Shalewa. She's my favorite auntie. She's actually the best auntie. I think if I had a close auntie, that's the auntie that I would really, really love. And why do I like her? Because first of all, she's very religious. That's a good quality of an aunt. That's just what I think. Not only that, she's also supportive and she's loyal and loves Dupizi. Who wouldn't like her? Who wouldn't like that? As in, it's very rare to find an aunt be invested in someone's problem to that extent, their nephew's problem to that extent, and I find that quite admirable. Then there is the cook, who happens to be Ajoke's sister. Her name is Labake. Labake starts up as somebody who's authoritarian, but at the same time she's quite likable. And you'll understand, she kind of understands what it means to go through hard times. And now she extends the same mercy to people. I think that's what makes her a bit quite popular. She's also helpful to her mother. She really wants to make her mom get better because her mother is unwell. She works hard as a cook. She has a restaurant just to be able to support her mom. And she also has a son. She's a single mother. She's quite hot-tempered, you see her in the movie really fighting her sister. She's interested more in her money than the sister, but then you come to understand why it's because Ajoke ran away with her money. Not only that, I think Ajoke did some pretty bad stuff. So what caused her to be a single mother is that she was in love young, and now the person she fell in love with left her, and now she has a son and she has to fend for herself and take care of that son. So goes to and it goes to show like the pain of like single mothers. La Bouquet's baby daddy promised that he would want to support her dreams of education. So he gave her some money, and hopefully that money was supposed to help her to continue on with schooling, but he goes ahead to leave her for bad. So now La Bouquet turns out to be very fierce. In fact, at one time she was threatened, and then now she becomes a blackmailer. She's quite tough. She's like a soft inside and a tough exterior because of what life has prevented. Like I don't know what to say. Like a watermelon. There's a good aspect of siblings fight and make up, because they fought. We saw them fighting and they actually made up. There's some guy that shows up in the middle of the advert. I didn't quite catch his name, but he seems like such an ass. He's like the owner of a betting company. He's arrogant and pompous and doesn't listen to advice. And he turns out to be the owner of the betting company. And this was quite interesting because, of course, he didn't want the people who had betted 1 million to actually win. And so he goes through various means to ensure that that team that was predicted to win does not win, including bribery, corruption, so many other things that he does. So he's actually the villain in the movie. Then Zay is also there. I've forgotten what his name is, but he's the brand strategist of the betting company, and he's erratic, he's hot-tempered, and has a very weird fashion sense. He appears to be bougie, but he's actually very local. Apparently, he studied in Harvard. Seems to like Labake, and yeah, that's just about him. Hakim is Ajoke's brother. He spends 300k of Labake's money on betting based on what Ajoke had prophesied. Then there's Fogo Bombastic. Fogo Bombastic's money was also invested in the betting, and they're upset when they realize that this prophetess is actually a fake prophetess. So people actually invested, the salary was to pay his boys on gambling, so on betting, not gambling. So is betting a vice or not? That's up to you to decide, but for me, I think betting is quite risky. He's a terrorist. This Fogo Bombastic is a terrorist. Number one, he kidnaps Ajoke's mother and nephew. Number two, he goes to really harass the football players in the field. He's all in all a very big troublemaker, but he's one of those people that, you know, when people say that God will use your enemies to actually do you good, like he will prepare for you a table before your enemies, or he will use the same enemies to bless you. This is the perfect example of that scenario. So then there is Motiu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He likes to be praised. His other name is also called Locomotive or Number 7. So it looks like he was probably a footballer before, but now he's old and retired. But now, like Auntie Shalewa, that is Dupizi's aunt, and the twin friend, convince him to come back and coach the team. And there is, of course, he's very principled. I liked that about him. He refused to be bribed by the betting company, because the betting company was doing so much to ensure that that the team that was predicted to win will not win. So then I like that about him. And then the funny thing is, like, there's Boom, the friend of Auntie Shalewa. I wonder how she can sleep with Locomotive just to convince him to play for to coach the team. That was quite weird. What was that all about? That's crazy. I mean, not many people's aunt friend would do that for their nephew. That was quite supportive, but a bit extreme if you ask me. But she seems to also like locomotives, so I guess maybe she didn't mind doing that. So Mother Ajoke reminds me of the typical African mother. She's nice, she's prayerful, she's frail, but also they sometimes emotionally blackmails people. Like she emotionally blackmailed Laboke to forgive Ajoke. Yeah, those type of things. So I'm not going to say much about her. Then there is the father of the star player of the team. He accepts a bribe and decides to remove the star player of the predicted winning team. And then there's I saw an interesting those TVs for a long time ago where you have to hold the aerial for you to be able to watch the TV. I found that quite interesting and funny. Then there's Osaze, the star player of the match, who's really determined even against all odds to be able to play the football match. So anyway, the two teams was Wonder Boy and Giddy. So Wonder Boy was the team that Ajoke predicted was going to win. So what my own view and thought about this whole scenario is that this whole movie was that it was actually a really good movie. I would definitely recommend it. I really enjoyed watching it, and I'd rate it an 8 even 9 out of 10 if you like underdog movies, because for me I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you a good day. Elton, say bye.
Bye. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Okay.